Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our coffee morning. Hope we're all well. Remember, in the days before we all had television, our experience of the outside world was enormously influenced by what we saw on the big screen. For me, naturally, westerns, or more correctly, cowboys. I don't remember if they were called westerns in those days in the Upper Rhondda anyway. War was a good second, and then gangsters and pirates. Everything else was sloppy. Still went though, because there was always the chance of a cartoon between the films. Yeah, there were two films. The Big Picture and the other one. And Pathy News, adverts and trailers. And they were all shown twice. A first sitting and a second sitting. Because the images were projected from high up at the back of the theatre, there was an ever-changing beam of light from the projector to the screen that seemed almost like a solid bridge down which the performance slid on a constantly shifting roadway made of cigarette smoke and dust and whatever else floated around in those days of coal mines and steam trains. Much of what we learned of the world outside the valley that we didn't get from school and chapel and our peers, we learned from the cinema. Obviously, then, as now, parents had little to contribute to of any use, though there were some clever ones who knew how to tie flies and make rabbit snares. I learned how to ride horses, swing from trees, and how to be quick on the draw from the cowboys, as well as a surprising amount of Spanish, and German even, from the war films. Pathy News showed world events and sporting achievements, and the launching of great ships. There was also a lot about other things. The adverts were of no interest whatsoever. That was when the ice cream lady came around. Now I preferred Kia Ora, in plastic cup with a foil top that you poked a straw through. They made a disgustingly interesting noise when they were nearly empty, and annoyingly crunchy racket under your foot when finished. All of this was enjoyed and sometimes endured from the cheap seats. Now, they were the same as all the other seats in the theatre. They were cheap because they were immediately in front of the stage. As the cinema was also a theatre, the front of the stage was a long way from the screen and about 8 feet above us. This meant that you were always looking up, never straight ahead, and with eyes darting about like as if you were at Wimbledon. It also put you firmly under the beady eye of Mr. Watch It and Behave Evans. His job was to make life as difficult as possible and less fun for boys. He had a torch and a stick. I never saw him use the stick except for walking. I think he only had one leg. As time went by and we all got TV, entertainment was available at home and the cinema became a more infrequent pleasure, reserved for the special blockbusters. But now, or at least until the lockdown, cinema has seen a great resurgence in popularity. But now they all seem to be blockbusters. So where do those boys get their education in the important matters now? Well, I think we know that, don't we? Every child now has a cinema in their pocket, as well as a museum, a reference library, information centre, and a communications device that Spock could only have dreamed of. Children have grown up with these devices and innovations from an early age and are marvellously adept at them. I think I was 14 before I used a telephone. You put tuppence in, dial the number, and press button A when somebody said hello. If nobody answered, press button B and you got your tuppence back. I learned that in the pictures as well. I've no doubt that today's youngsters are just as inquisitive and innovative as ever I was, and much more wiser in the ways of the world. How could they not be so in this information age? But I most fervently hope that they don't lose out on the simple wonders that spring their imagination beyond that box of tricks by looking ahead without having to strain upwards for the view from the cheap seats. That really was a pain in the neck. So, have a good week and keep well.